This is the Matt Thomas Show.
Hour number 2 of the Matt Thomas Show underway here on a Wednesday. Rockets and Kings meet tonight inside Toyota Center. We'll have the broadcast for you with the launch pad at 6, network pregame at 6:30, and then I'll have the call at 7 o'clock. Coach Silas with us here on the show. Coach, let's get right to it. Jordan or James?
Jordan. I mean, it's close. It's not a home run anymore, but yeah, I go Jordan just because. I mean, 6 championships, 2 three-peats, all the things that he did, all defensive team. But you know, whatever. I coach LeBron, so I'm a LeBron fan as well. So it's not. There used to be a big gap to me, and there's not at all a big gap anymore.
You're obviously listening to my show last hour, Coach. I appreciate it because I said the gap is closed in the last 5 years. I actually put him into 1A because I think being the all-time scoring champion is saying something. And it's not like LeBron has ever had a season where he was scoring 14 points a game, shooting 21% from the field. I mean, he has had continued excellence every year of his NBA career. He
has, and the part of LeBron's greatness is in his passing. So to be 4th all-time in assists and the leading scorer all-time says a lot about his complete game. And you never really thought about LeBron as a scorer. You know, you just kind of thought about him as an all-around player.
Right.
But he has had some of those moments where he's gone for, you know, the Detroit series where he scored all those points, or, you know, you think of Kobe and you think of scorer, you know, but as far as LeBron, it never really has been just his scoring. It's his all-around game that has made him great. And for him to be the all-time scorer without really focusing on scoring as much as some other guys says just so much about him as a player and one of the greats.
So, and last question about this. My determination is, and this is just everybody has their own different parameters, I have to get one shot off, 10 seconds to win a championship. Who do I want the ball in the hand of? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's my indication.
For sure.
So.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, yeah, 10 times out of 10.
All right. Now, one of the things I like about you most is that you don't go on social media. I'm very proud of you for that.
I don't. There's no reason for me to do that. I have enough stuff, other stuff going on. I got criticisms of myself internally, so no, I don't do social media.
The reason why I bring that up is because clearly you were pissed off a couple of days ago and shouldn't have been. And everyone's like, well, what is this Stephen Silas? He doesn't do this very often. What is this all about? Is this some show? And my thought is this. Stephen, if you'd have gone up there after your squad gave up 153 and 140 and said, hey, you know, we're just trying to get past this and we're a young team, people would be like, does he have a pulse on his basketball team? You were generally pissed, so I want to ask you, how has the last 36 hours been, and how have you been able to express your unhappiness to your squad with them still trying to buy in and try to bounce back after what has been 2 very disappointing performances on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's completely appropriate to be mad in that situation, and obviously we're super, super young and we're rebuilding, and there has to be an understanding of that. There has to be a level of patience that goes along with that generally. But, when you give up 293 points in 2 games, the head coach should be mad and the players should feel that. And after the game, it's immediately after the game when the emotions are still kind of flowing. Yeah, in the press conference, I was mad. And justifiably so to me. And you haven't seen that much as we've kind of gone through this rebuilding process because of the patience that's needed and the understanding that it's more about how we play and less about the wins and losses. But that was about both to me. And those 2 games were unacceptable. There's all the excuses that we could use going into the OKC game as far as not having Eric and not having JT and all the stuff that could go into that. And then there's the Sacramento stuff where it's just not a great matchup for us. And they have a good post-up player and they have shooting all over the floor. But no, we're not. I'm not letting them off the hook for that. I'm not going to let I'm not letting the coaching staff off the hook. I'm not letting the players off the hook. Everybody needs to know that that's unacceptable to give up 293 points in 2 games. And to me, that's fair. And to me, that is, justifiable.
Rockets head coach Stephen Silas with us here on Sports Talk 790. And Coach, what is that like for you, especially now in year 3? Has that been a learning process for you, or just overall your thoughts, knowing when to give tough love, when to get in people's ear, but also when to be nurturing, but at the end of the day, just most importantly, making sure your message is heard?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really been that difficult. I don't think so. Everybody isn't in my practices, right? And everybody isn't in my film sessions. So I think more so the surprising part as far as what happened the other night was the media and maybe the reaction to what the media put out or people watching the press conference. But as far as my team, they're like, oh, that's coach. There are days where it's about learning. It's about the growing and getting better. But there are plenty of days where, they have to be held accountable. There are days where the voice gets raised and the pointing on the screen gets more and more, hard to on the television. And, it's really just a feel. And like I said, there's the person that you see in front of the media, after games and before games, but there's also the person that has to coach these guys and let them know what's right and what's wrong. And sometimes that can be a little bit lost, I think.
Well, this is a 48-minute game, as you know, and I would certainly hope tonight the first 5 minutes, some of the things you discussed, and then some of the players have backed up your arguments about the defense. But, Steve, this is a 48-minute game. I mean, you're going to have to be probably quick-triggered on those timeouts again if you see a nasty trend reoccur again, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. There's certain things that I'm going to be looking for tonight that didn't happen in the last game, for sure. But there's also the fact that this is the number 2 team in the league in scoring. They're number 3 in the West. They're not a great matchup for us, and we're not going to shut them out. So, there's certain things that I'm going to be looking for as far as the effort, as far as the ball pressure, as far as the communication, as far as being on the plays. But there's also hey, they're going to score some points and we got to come right back at them. And there can't be the lack of effort, transition, easy baskets or the back cuts that happened in the last game. Those are the things I'm going to be looking for. So, no, I'm not expecting to shut them out for sure because they're elite offensive team, but we got to do better. We got to work harder. We got to make them feel us on the defensive end. And, the way that we played last game is unacceptable. And like you said, if there's a need for a timeout, if there's a need for pulling a guy out early, that'll be the consequence.
We'll leave it at that. We'll see you tonight. Thanks for the visit as always. We really appreciate it.
Sounds good.
All right. Stephen Silas with us, Rockets head coach here on the Matt Thomas Show. 112. And a reminder again, Rockets and Kings Launchpad with Sports RV. You're hosting the show at 6 o'clock tonight?
Yes, I am.
6:30, the network pregame show with Adam Clayton.
Of course. Matt Thomas going to do a great job on the call, as he always does, coming up at 7 o'clock.
I would hope so.
That's a line directly from every Launchpad I do.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it all, but.
Oh. It was the false compliment.
I think you do a really good job on the Rockets call.
Thank you very much. It's so much fun. I just wish we won more.
I'm with you, Matt. I was saying this last night. I'm like, man, I really love doing these Rockets pre- and post games when the team's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun.
Because people want to get into
and go to
should
the
this
arena.
have happened or
yes.
should this rotation have been in play?
LeBron James got to go. Mike Dan. I never thought I would say this. I miss James Harden needs to be traded calls. I miss him.
I miss Gerard's 4-minute recaps.
I miss it. And now a lot of you who wanted him punted off the team, this is what you got. Unfortunately. I miss it. I'm going to say it. I miss James Harden on the Rockets. They were a little more competitive.
Hand on chin emoji.
When he was in his prime.
113. You always had to add a little caveat, don't you? 713-212-579. We spent a lot of time on basketball this first hour, probably to our detriment, but we do like to talk about all the sports. We'll get to some other things in the world of sports coming up in a minute. 713-212-5790. By the way, in 45 minutes, Ross, what are we going to do? We're going to tell people to shut their bum asses up, and ain't nobody got time for that.